Today we're going to start with the question editor in EKP 5.0. To get started with the question editor, you'll start off in the Manage section and then go to Exam Manager and then Question Editor. This will open the Question Editor dialog box. From the Question Editor dialog box, you will be able to choose from the existing question pools. If you click on a particular question pool, and then you can choose the particular subtopics and click Display Questions to see which questions are available currently in the question pool, as well as seeing what their current status is. In order to create a question, we'll click on the Create Question icon from the toolbar. You will be presented with the current question ID, and this is the auto-generated ID, but it can be overwritten, as well as the question type, which you have essay, fill in the blank, matching, multiple choice with multiple correct answers, rating, single choice, triple rating, and true false. Besides the question types, you can also choose which question pool you would want your questions to show up in. By default, it will be the last question pool you were looking in from the left-hand screen, but you can do that if you would like. Finally, you can click the Create button to create. But before doing that, we'll go ahead and change our question ID to KP011, and now we'll click Create, which will open up the question editor so we can actually create our first question. You'll see the status is work in progress. You'll have the reference and info, as well as a checkbox as to if this is going to be a mandatory question if we are doing a random exam. You then can enter the text for your particular question. So we'll do a simple question. You can also choose whether or not you want the answers to be randomized. And now we'll enter in our answer choices. So after each choice, this is a multiple choice where only one answer is correct. So we have radio buttons to choose the correct answer. So we'll just finish typing this up here for the questions, for the answers. And we'll just put some silly comments in there and select our correct answer. Now, if we did want to add more potential answers, we can just click the Display Additional Choices, but we're not going to do that, so we'll hide those. Now we'll display our additional comments, which allows us to add hints, which is just any sort of hint that you want to give to the learner whenever they're taking the exam, as well as a pre-comment, which is a statement which will preface the question, and the explanation, which just simply explains why the correct answer is correct. Once we have all this filled out, and all the hints, pre-comments, and explanations are completely optional, we will then click Save in order to save the question. And once we do that, we'll then see we have additional tabs open up. The first one is for administration. So this will let you still juggle which pool you want it in, state how many times you want the question to be used, what the weight is, any comments you want for other people who might be administering the question, as well as the owner and the ability to set the permissions. So the permissions will allow us to say who else can read and write to this particular question. Once we have set that set, we'll click Save. Then we'll move on to the preview, which will show you a preview and the approval. So if you have a multi-step approval process, it could then be marked as approved, who's approved it, and the date. Next, we'll move to the Media tab, which allows us to add images, audio files, videos, or other types of HTML, most often a Flash file, to the question. Whenever you choose to select something, it will pop open from the repository, where you can select through, find a particular object, and associate it by clicking Select. Finally, you'll have access to the usage statistics and any archived versions of the question. So this concludes our use of the question editor in EKP.